the Camerons, ladies and gentlemen, Emerson, Lake and Butler.
Via satellite from Hollywood, it's Rockline, the show where you ask the questions for the biggest stars in rock and roll. Hello again, I'm Bob Coburn. Rockline is brought to you by Budweiser, nothing beats a Bud, and by AT&T, sponsors of the It Can Happen to Me sweepstakes. Don't touch that dial because it could happen to you. Tonight on Rockline, it's an evening with Keith Emerson, Greg Lake, and Carl Palmer. So get your questions ready and call us toll-free in the U.S. and Canada at 1-800-344-ROCK. That's 1-800-344-7625. One number toll-free from anywhere in North America. Only a few names in rock and roll have a magical air about them. Emerson, Lake, and Palmer certainly qualify for that distinction. They've been with us in different incarnations since 1969. 1992 finds them poised to release a new body of work due in May of this year. Tonight is part one of a two-part series with the band, a chance this evening to look back and then project ahead with the original trio. Part two will coincide with the new album released in May. So let's welcome live to Rockline, Mr. Keith Emerson. Good evening and welcome.
Hi, Bob. Nice to be here.
Nice to see you. And Greg Lake is with us as well.
Hi.
And also Carl Palmer. Hey.
Hello, Bob.
Good to see you guys again, and glad to have the three of you back. I understand the band is not looking at this as a reunion, but simply a continuance of what has happened in the past. But a lot of the fans and the press are going to say this is a reunion. What is the distinction from your side of it here? Is this a reunion or just a continuation?
Well, we've over the years we've always been active in one form or another, and I mean we've had quite a while where we haven't been playing, but we've always communicated and we've worked with each other on different projects, so it's always kept going really. But certainly to the extent that when we started to play together, it was very exciting and just made us feel that now was the right time to launch into a new record. It just felt right. It was exciting, and so we've done it. Whatever they say about it.
Whatever they might say.
I think we'd like to refer to it as a long holiday.
A long holiday. There you go. That's a good way of putting it. Let's talk about this forthcoming album. How far into it are you, and will you come back in May and play it for us, as I mentioned before?
I think we're actually considering touring towards the end of July. Is what's being spoken about.
But you will come back to Rockline and play the new record sometime in May.
Sure, yeah.
Is it mixed yet? And
we're mixing it now at the moment. So we're halfway through the mixing.
Now, I know it's hard to describe music. It's hard to verbally describe something that you hear sonically. What's the overall tone and attitude, though? Is this a powerhouse EOP album that we can expect this time around? Who wants to handle this? This is a tough one, huh?
Well, I don't think we've ever bowed to any commercial trends at all throughout the whole thing of EOP. And this time, it's definitely got a follow-on from what we've done before.
Now, since we're not playing any new music tonight, we'll do that in May when the new album comes out. We're going to play some of the best of the past, beginning with, I think, one of the best songs in rock and roll, with the unlikely title of Carnival No. 9, First Impression, Part 2. Now, how did that title evolve, you guys? Who's responsible for that?
His responsibility. Me. Emo. He came up with that.
Everybody's pointing
Fingers,
at Keith.
speak up.
I'm looking forward to the show this evening, because I might find out what it means.
You might find out as well, huh, Carl?
It'd be very important to me.
I'm on the spot here.
The enigmatic title.
Yeah, I think we were looking at this sort of strange sort of planet that where things were completely chaotic and were organised by sort of computers or whatever. That was back in like '77, and I think the message at the end actually hangs true today.
It was load your program. I am yourself. That was the
negative, positive or something.
It's the sort of thing. But it was just a vision of the future. And at that time, I mean, now personal computers have become, everybody's got one. And but at that time, of course, they were just starting, and it was that kind of a vision, really.
And, of course, to make things even more fun, this song comes from the album Brain Salad Surgery, which really wasn't on the full record, right? Was there a 45 on the inside on the original issue of that, on Brain Salad Surgery?
There was a floppy at one stage that we only gave away in the UK. I can't remember.
And then it ended up later, I think, on Works 2 or...
Yeah, that's right.
I think it did end up there
memory,
later
Bob.
on.
You're doing well this evening. Stay with us.
Not at all. Now, that phrase, Brain Salad Surgery, that was in a Dr. John song. And is that where that came from?
Absolutely.
Or did you predate that?
It was a Dr. John thing. Our first title for that was Whip Some Skull on You, but it was a bit yes. I don't know what that means. You know what that means?
No, but
it means the same as brain salad surgery.
Yeah, I think you're right. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. Carnival number 9, First Impression, Part 2, ELP. We have just begun the show with Emerson, Lake and Palmer. It's an evening with ELP. Join us back in just a moment on ROCKLINE on the Global Satellite Network. The number is toll-free 1-800-344-ROCK. You can call from anywhere in North America toll-free. Welcome back. It's ROCKLINE and an evening with Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I'm Bob Coburn. Glad to have you listening tonight. 1-800-344-ROCK is our number. That is the number Brian called in Little Rock, Arkansas, a listener of Magic 105. Brian, you are on the show.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Yes, my question tonight is, with the standard of sophisticated rock that Emerson, Lake and Palmer set back in the 70s, does it feel good to look back now and know the accomplishments and that your albums have stood the test of time?
Absolutely. It's a wonderful feeling to come back into America and hear your stuff played on the radio 20 years later. I don't think there's a musician, this is Carl talking, by the way, I don't think there's a musician in the world that would deny that fact, that if you jump in a car and you switch the radio on and you hear your own music 20 years hence, I mean, come on.
You must have done something right way back when.
The most wonderful thing ever.
Great way to start us off, Brian. Thank you for the call. We'll move on quickly to Tim. He is in Larksville, Pennsylvania, listener of Rock 107, WEZX in Scranton. And Tim, you're on with ELP.
How's it going, gentlemen?
Good.
It's great to have you back. Carl, I had a quick question. I wanted to find out if you could tell me, I'm interested in finding out where exactly your drum kit is from the 73-74 brain cell surgery tour. I heard it was in the Victoria Albert Museum in London. Is that true?
I believe it made a short visit to the Victoria Albert Museum. It then came out because it was on loan by this woman who'd wanted the drum set from me. He was a big fan of the band. And since then it's been obtained by Ringo Starr, who's prepared to let me have it back any time that I want.
Oh,
I didn't
really?
realise that he wanted the set, but I only just found this out the other day.
Does he
it's a good question.
Does he collect, Ringo?
Well, I believe he's collecting this drum set, that's for sure.
He collected yours anyway.
Yes, and he came up and told me, and I was quite impressed by that.
That's amazing. Now, how did you release it to begin with? It was on loan to you, you said?
No, it's my drum set originally, and I met somebody who wanted to obtain the drum set. I didn't play it anymore as a musical instrument. I'd, sort of given up playing. It was the wrong configuration of drums. So I met this woman who must have been about 54, 55. Old, I was quite amazed, but she was impressed with the engraving on the drums. So she said, could she have it? And I said, yes, fine. And then she donated to the museum. It then came out of the museum, and Ringo Starr managed to get it because he wanted to actually buy it, but I don't know, maybe he didn't have the funds or something.
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure. But anyway, he ended up with it. So I think it's gone to a good home,
Oh, that's great. What a circuitous route for that.
Absolutely.
Tim, thank you very much. We have Chris on the line in Atlanta right now, listening to 96.1 WKLS-FM. Chris, you're on.
Hey, great. ELP, cool. I got a question for Greg. Is there going to be an acoustic number on the new album?
Yes, we're just in the process of recording a couple of acoustic songs right now. We've done one called Affairs of the Heart, and we're going to record another one tomorrow. And so I presume there will be one on the record, yeah.
So some things are done and are ready to be mixed, but you're still working on some songs.
Sure, we're right in the middle of mixing right now, and we're very pleased with the results. Fantastic. Yeah.
Well, when we have you back in May, we'll play a lot of the new material. In fact, predominantly the new material. Chris, thank you very much. Let's speak with Rob in Buffalo, New York. 97 Rock is our station there. And Rob, you're on the Rock line.
Good evening, Keith, Greg, and Carl. It's a pleasure to be speaking with you.
Hi,
Rob.
Hello.
Hi, my question is in regards to the direction the band wished to partake in the 1990s. Keith, you'd alluded earlier to the fact that the band was never one to give in to commercial demands. Will it be more of a commercial album such as Love Beach, which incidentally I thought was a fine album, or an electronic progressive sound such as Brain Salad or symphonic orchestral? And Carl, just a quick one for you. Could you please inform me on the status of Asia?
Do you want to start first, Keith? Tell him about what we're going to do musically.
Well, each of ELP's albums, as you're probably aware of, they've each been a progression from one to the other. it's not easy to sort of try and analyze how different this one is from the last. I don't think you'll be disappointed. There's a lot of interplay between the band, a lot of improvised interplay, which is good. Which a lot of it is very live. There's also a lot of new technology has been involved in the production of this. I mean, my keyboard setup is the most advanced that I've ever had. But plus the fact I've brought back the Hammond organ again to an extreme extent. It's a real bitchin' sound, and it's a great instrument to sort of get back into and play again.
It is such a great sound that
I think
has.
what I'd like to add to that, this is Carl speaking, is that basically sort of coming back together again and recording, rehearsing, writing, whatever. I think the general attitude that runs through the band is to sort of carry on as if we hadn't sort of laid off for any period of time playing together. The basic thing was to go like we always were, you know, as far as the attitude and, you know, just going for the best, the technology, whatever it was. And that thread really runs through the whole band. So that was the general mental thing that we sort of, you know, we were all attuned to.
And Rob's other question had to deal with Asia.
Yes, Asia are still performing as a band, working. You know, there's an album that will come out. I don't know on what particular label. Yes, but the band still functions.
And I understand, Greg, they want you to do an international live broadcast as a guest vocalist for that.
Is that right?
Is that right? Yes.
I haven't heard about that.
I haven't heard about that, huh? Yeah.
No.
Surprise.
Don't think you will be, as a matter of fact. Speaking of Greg, we're going to play a song that he wrote many years ago that still stands the test of time, a beautiful rock and roll song from the first album by ELP. It's Lucky Man on ROCKLINE and the Global Satellite Network. Talk about standing the test of time. That's Lucky Man. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, our guests for the entire program tonight. We have Larry on the line in Houston, Texas right now on ROCKLINE, and he is a listener of 101 KLOL. Larry, you're on with ELP.
ELP, great talking to you. Follow Lucky Man, at all-time favorite song. My question is, the music you did, like Benny and the Bouncer, the Sheriff, etc., you had humor in the lyrics, but the critics never gave you credit for the joke you were expressing. Did this upset you for not getting recognition for what you were doing, what you were trying to say?
They're all looking at me, so I'll answer this one. This is Greg here.
Take it, Greg.
I mean, actually, Keith is the person responsible for this humour.
Thanks. A sense of humour.
I mean, music is a strange vehicle for humour, and I suppose really we felt that just in our records that they generally tend to be intense, and yes, and I think that there was all this feeling that perhaps there was this one moment that it was good to lighten up a bit, and I think that was it really. That no, it didn't bother us about. I mean, we don't really. Once we've made a record, it's made. We don't really consider whether, you know, one just hopes people like it, but if they do, if they don't, there's not much you can do about it.
That's true, yeah.
Make another one.
Make another one, quick.
Larry, there you are. Thank you for being on. We have now from Tokyo Bay, Akko, and she's a listener of Bay FM 78. Akko, welcome to ROCKLINE.
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. I'm really excited because I can speak to you. It's unbelievable.
Good. I'm quite exciting too.
Yes. This is my question. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. In the past, did you find it difficult to recreate the sound of your records live on stage?
Hard to recreate the sound of the records live on stage. Was that ever a problem?
It's always a little bit of it. This is Carl speaking. It's always a problem. You can never do it exactly, but. We always got pretty close, I personally thought. I think in a live situation, one has a certain amount of excitement that's coupled with the sound, which sort of makes the whole thing more of an event, you know. Trying to create the record exactly is probably something we can do more now than what we could do then. So I would say that the future is looking a lot more rosy as far as that's concerned.
The technology has really changed, I would imagine. You know, not only for you and for Greg, but for you especially, I would think, Keith.
Yeah, I'm using my feet as well, but I've always used my feet anyway when I'm playing.
Akko, thank you very much for being on ROCKLINE. You call us back anytime. We'll return with Emerson, Lake and Palmer in just a moment. This is actually part one of a two-part special with the band. Part two will be later in May when the new album is released. We'll come back and play some more songs out of the past and more of your calls for the band next on ROCKLINE on the Global Satellite Network. We are back. Thank you for coming back with us. An evening with ELP. The number is toll-free 1-800-344-ROCK. It's ROCKLINE and the Global Satellite Network. I'm Bob Coburn. Up to Thunder Bay, Ontario now. We'll speak with Tim, a listener of 94 FM. Tim, you're on the show with us now.
Good evening, boys, and let me say welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends.
Thank you.
First of all, I have a very quick two-part question for Keith. First of all, Keith, which classical musician or musicians have most influenced your style of playing piano and organ? I'll wait for your response and then have part two of my question.
Bach on the piano. I also listen to a lot of the French composers, like Ravel, Debussy. Okay, that's the first bit.
All right, what's next, Tim?
Okay, perhaps, Keith, you can settle an argument here for me. In my band, I have an old beat-up Hammond A100 that's all marked up and scratched, but it just sounds beautiful, nice and distorted, really raunchy.
You have sorry, you have an A100?
An A100, correct.
Yeah.
Do you think they're ever going to come out with a sampled, digitized sound that's as good as the real thing? And if so, where can I get one? Because moving the Hammond's just killing my back.
You should develop your muscles up, mate. Yeah, well, the A100 weighs about 350 pounds, doesn't it?
It's quite heavy, but I've got it on casters, so it's not too bad.
You've got it on casters?
Right.
Get a roadie.
Get a roadie, right. Oh, well, actually, yes, the Hammond Suzuki XB3 is very good. I'd recommend that.
It's a very nice plug.
I was going to say tonight's show is brought to you by...
They gave me quite a few, I have to say that, Greg.
Lovely. Any other credits in the forthcoming albums you'd like to get out now while you have a chance here? Yeah.
Well, I'd just like to say thank you to Korg and anyone else.
Tim, there you go, and thank you for your questions. We're going to speak with Dave now, all the way from Thunder Bay down to San Diego, California, listener of Rock 102.1. Dave, you're on.
Hey, ELP.
Hi, Dave.
Yeah, well, I guess actually I should say hello again, although it's been quite a few years since I talked to you guys as Emerson, Lake and Powell. Even longer since Asia was on. I've got a two-part question for anybody, and kind of a brief little bit for Carl. My question is, as far as an upcoming tour, what kind of material do you plan on playing as far as, referring specifically to material outside of Emerson, Lake and Palmer, E.L. Powell or three, previous nice material solo, and how big a show do you plan on doing spectacle-wise? I know ELP always, put on a really grand show.
Okay, first of all, what we will try to achieve when we do play live, which, as I said earlier, will be at the end of July, sometime in August here, we'll try to play pieces from all of the albums that we've recorded collectively as a band, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I think as far as any other music from our own individual past, I don't think that any of that will be played. In fact, I know it won't be. I would say to you that the show would be approximately 2 hours, depending, and we would try to give a good assortment of music, obviously concentrating quite heavily on the new album, where we probably play 3, 4, 5 tracks, who knows. But I would say that all of the music would have been will be from previous ELP albums.
Well, you have such a great catalog, and then you have the new album coming out, and that's going to pretty well fill out 2 hours.
I think, yeah, 2 hour show, I think will be plenty, an hour, whatever.
Yeah, that it turns out that way. Dave, that I think was both of your questions. Thank you for those. We're going to play something live right now. This is the live version of Hoedown from Welcome Back, My Friends, to the Show That Never Ends. Ladies and gentlemen, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Hoedown, recorded live on ROCKLINE and the Global Satellite Network. You kind of up the tempo for that on the
I'd like to know who counted that in.
Yeah, Keith.
Keith.
Not my fault, mate.
Absolutely, all day long.
It's ROCKLINE with ELP tonight. We have Carl on the line in Fairfield, Connecticut, listening to 92.3 K-Rock in New York City. And Carl, you are on ROCKLINE.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Hi, Carl.
Hi.
Hi. I was wondering, I wanted to ask you about taking the orchestra out on the road years back. Was that something you were proud of, something you would consider ever doing again?
Well,
everyone's
we don't have to pay for it.
Oh, yeah, right.
Certainly something we were proud of doing. I think, that we toured so much that constantly the shows would escalate, the production would escalate. We were always looking for something new to do, and it just was one of those things that was a challenge there that seemed something that we should do. And yeah, when I look back on it, I think we're very proud of it and the recordings we made. It's a horrendously expensive thing to do, and it's not something that one can undertake lightly, but certainly, if the opportunity presents itself in the future, it's certainly something we'd like to do on a sort of special event basis, perhaps.
So you might do it on for a charity thing or selected cities,
yeah, sure.
that type of thing, yeah.
Sure.
Because 96 pieces to take on the road is
the nice
cost
thing
prohibitive in the 90s. That's for sure.
The nice thing is we've got everything scored out for orchestra, so we can do it.
Yeah.
You know.
We've always liked to go on the road and play exactly what's been on the record. You know, and as we had the Works album out with Pirates on it, it seemed only the right thing to do it the way it was on the record and take the orchestra with us.
I think it'd be right to say that in the future, if we were to play a piece of music with an orchestra, it would quite possibly be Pirates. So, I mean, that's, I think, what we've been thinking about over the...
now you have your longtime fans thinking, you know,
absolutely.
Maybe my city, yeah, maybe my place. Carl, thank you for being on. We have Chuck on the line now in Charlotte, North Carolina, 95.7 WXRC, our affiliate there. Welcome to the Rock Line, Chuck.
Hello, EL&P. Looking forward to finally seeing the three of you together on stage at the same time. I heard that when you formed ELP in 1969, there were plans to collaborate with Jimi Hendrix and call the project Help. I was wondering what the story behind that was.
Oh, gosh.
That's Keith talking, by the way.
This is Keith talking, Chuck. Hi. Actually, the story goes back in 1968, I think. I knew Jimmy quite well. We used to sort of like hang out at a club called the Speakeasy. And I think I jammed with him on one occasion. I definitely toured with him. When Greg and I were getting together, we were looking for a drummer before we found Carl. Mitchell came along. Greg and I had a chat with him. And it was... just really sort of discussed loosely at the time. Mitch said, well, what about bringing Jimmy in? And I thought, well, yes, that might be a great idea. It really didn't go any further than that, and we hadn't finalised on accepting Mitch as a drummer. And, of course, Carl came along, and we discovered him through an advert in Gardeners Weekly. And
Uphill Gardeners.
I always speak highly of him.
Uphill Gardeners Weekly. No, let's get him. And
we are Hollywood, gentlemen. Be careful, please.
The story sort of leaked out. I think a member of the British press got hold of it, and they
got hold of what? For the Lord's sake, got hold of what? There's a Carl speaking.
That copy of Garden Weekly.
Yeah.
No one's going to get my Gardeners Weekly, believe me.
You never know. Play cards.
Easy.
So the story came out that we had that Mitch was a potential drummer, and that Jimmy would. They put 2 and 2 together, and 3 and 3 together, 4 together, and they thought, well, gosh, HELP, help, and it made good press, but it didn't come to light, and then unfortunately, Jimmy went,
Got to wonder what Jimmy would be doing these days.
It would be interesting to know.
Really curious.
It'd be terrific to know.
Yeah.
I know, it really would be.
Chuck, thank you for the call. We have Lucinda patiently waiting in Orlando, Florida to talk to you guys, and she's a listener of WDIZ, as a matter of fact. Lucinda, you are on the Rock Line.
Hello?
Hi, Lucinda.
Hi. First of all, I have to say that you three guys are one of my inspirations to pursue a career in recording engineering.
Wow.
And I think you guys are wonderful. And my question is, were you planning on digitally remastering any of your old tracks and possibly putting it together for like a box set?
This is Greg here. There is, at the moment, Atlantic Records are remastering a selection of, a sort of anthology of all the records, and it'll be digitally remastered, yeah. And that should be out, I think, in July. Sometime in July.
Oh, great. That makes a big difference when they get digitally remastered.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
It does.
I think everything is available right now in North America, with the exception of the album we played Hoedown from a moment ago, the Welcome Back, My Friends, to the Show That Never Ends, and I won't go on with the rest of the title, but everything else is on CD, but to remaster it will make a huge difference. Lucinda, thank you very much. We're going to go back to the past again. We'll play new material in May when the band joins us again for part 2. We'll go back to Tarkus, however, right now. And the name of this song is Stones of Years on Rockline on the Global Satellite Network. Stones of Years, ELP from Tarkus. We know you ELP fans were going to enjoy that. Hey, we've got some special Rockline AT&T 1992 calendars that we'd like to give you the opportunity to win, as a matter of fact. Now, what makes these calendars unique is they'll be autographed by all of the guests who will appear on Rockline throughout the month of March. To be eligible to win one, all you need to do is drop us a postcard with your name, address, age, daytime phone number, and the radio station you listen to Rockline on, and send it to 1992 Rockline Calendar, P.O. Box 4383, Hollywood, California 90078. At the end of the month, we will randomly select 10 winners. These autograph calendars are suitable for framing, and they are indeed collector's items. If your entry is not selected this time around, tell you what, we'll hang on to it for future giveaways throughout the rest of the year. The 1992 Rockline Calendar is brought to you by AT&T, sponsors of the It Can Happen to Me sweepstakes. Don't touch that dial, because it could happen to you on the Global Satellite Network.
Should talking long distance feel any different than...
Hey, we're back. Thanks for coming back with us. It's an evening with Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. I'm Bob Coburn. We have Chiv on the line, a listener in Miami, Florida, and he is a listener of 103 She. Is that Shiv? Is it correct?
Chiv.
Chiv, okay. Well, welcome to the program.
Okay, thank you. First off, I want to say y'all are great.
Thank you very
much.
And I want to know, my question is, did y'all feel any rivalry, like in the early 70s, about Yes, or was it just critics, you know, or what?
What's Chiv short for?
Chisholm.
Ah, Chiz.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. No.
Chisholm.
Rivalry? No, not really. No, it's. I think each band is something unto themselves. You know, I mean, we never have any rivalry at all, do we?
I don't think so.
Well, you do.
Except for that band you were talking about a moment ago off the air. Yeah, right. Actually, there was an odd connection, or an early connection, with Eddie Offord. He engineered, I believe, the first ELP album, and you produced it, Greg, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Eddie's worked with both us and Yes, and we're friendly with them, and you know,
it's never been a problem, really. You know, we all played the same dates. We all knew each other. No, friends, I would say.
Yeah.
All 28 of them.
Yes. Well, yeah, they're sort of now a football team, aren't they? It's true.
It's true. Thanks for the call. Let's move on now to Lansdowne, Pennsylvania. We have John on the line, a listener of 93.5 WTPA. That is in Harrisburg. And John, you're on the show.
Hi, guys.
Hi, John.
First of all, let me say it's great to be talking with you. It's great also to have Emerson, Lake, and Palmer back together again. I was starting to think I'd never be able to see you guys in concert, all three of you.
Right. Your time is coming.
Yes. My question is basically for Keith Emerson. Back in the 1980s, I came across a quote from you that you said you had gotten away from music for a little while there because the keyboard technology had not kept up with what you wanted to be able to do. And I was wondering if you could sort of explain that comment.
Is that true?
No, I think this is misquoted.
I might have said it.
I think it was probably I was feeling the frustration of some of the things that I was doing in the studio I wasn't able to do in a live context. That was literally the thing. As I said before, one of the reasons we took the orchestra out is because we actually had the orchestra on the album. And around about that period of ELP throughout the 70s, that you know, you can obviously hear when you listen to the album, there are some keyboard overdubs, such as when I'm playing the Hammond, there's the piano is there playing a unison line, and that to me made the sound of the piece. And if I couldn't recreate this on stage, I found it a little bit frustrating. But of course now the technology is so far advanced for keyboards that I don't know why Carl's laughing.
Well, how do we get these two to stop?
It's not me laughing.
Serious answer.
Well, this is basically, John, he wanted to take some time off, so that's the best thing you could come up with. That's the truth of the matter. He wanted to go on holiday.
That's what you're laughing about.
Does that answer your question? Next.
Greg and Carl couldn't look at each other for a moment there, and Keith's talking away.
Yeah, I think I remember him saying it. That's why I'm laughing.
That's what he said to me.
I heard some stories somewhere, too, that you had a fire either in a studio or at your home and lost a lot of equipment. Is there any truth to that?
I've had a lot of accidents. I had a tractor come through the barn.
A tractor come through the barn?
Yeah. It wasn't driven by me. No, it's quite a mess. Yeah.
A little bit here and there, huh?
Oh, yeah.
You are a bit accident-prone, actually, aren't you?
Am I? Especially on stage, yeah. I think I've had more accidents on stage than I've ever had on my motorbike, you know.
When we're performing, I always, you know, I live in dread, you know. I just look over there and think, oh, no, he's not going to do that, is he? You know? Oh, he did. Oh, God, no.
Here we go again.
I've blown my fingernail off. I've broken ribs, my nose. Yeah, a lot of things actually.
Man.
It's awful when you sort of like jump over the organ. You end up in the audience, and then you can't get back on stage because you don't have a backstage pass.
Sorry, can I see your pass, please? John, thank you. We're going to move on now to Richmond, Virginia. XL 102, our station there. Mark, you're on Rockline.
Thank you. ELP, it is a privilege to speak with y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My question is for Greg. Greg, what inspired you to write the lyrics for the album Trilogy, and was the song Trilogy ever performed live?
You know, it's difficult for me to actually remember the actual inspiration for the, because of course there's a lot of different pieces on there. But generally speaking, I like lyrics that I write lyrics not only from real life, but just also from simply the sound of the words and the way that they come across poetically. I think that it's a sort of blend of those things. Sometimes it comes from life circumstances, and they tend to be songs that are more sincere. But at other times, you know, it's a question of letting your mind go out there and just and seeing what comes, really.
There you go, Mark. Thank you for your call. We're going to play something from Trilogy right now. We're an hour into Rockline, but we're going to take it from the beginning. Emerson, Lake and Palmer from Trilogy from the beginning on Rockline, and Bob Coburn. We're with ELP for the full 90 minutes tonight, and then once again in May when they have their new album coming out. And right now we have a call from Tokyo Bay. It is Melinda, a listener of Bay FM 78. Melinda, you're on the Rockline with ELP.
Hi, guys. I just want to say I love your music, especially Lucky Man, your 1971 song.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But what I really want to know is what you remember most about y'all's first live show in 1970.
Oh, I can't go back that far, Melinda.
Scared stiff.
Scared stiff, yeah.
I can't honestly remember.
It was, where was it? Plymouth?
Yes.
It was at Plymouth, yeah. It was about a 3,000-seater, I think.
Keith, 400 people it was.
Was it 400?
And half of them relatives.
Yeah, and the promoter went, Dick Van Dyke.
It must have looked big because I was very nervous.
He was a bit nervous at night.
It looked like more people.
Yeah.
Yes, no, it was great. I remember that when we finished, Greg and I hugged each other.
Yes. They've always had problems.
They keep doing that. I wish you'd stop.
I think we got gosh, they like us.
It's true.
I got a question for Melinda. A call from Tokyo Bay, and you said y'all. What part of America are you from, Melinda?
Well, actually, I'm from Oregon.
Oh, you're from Oregon. Oh, gee.
Yeah.
Well, unusual. Well, thanks for being on tonight, okay?
Thanks a lot.
All right. We're going to talk now with Mike in Ithaca, New York, a listener of Classic 104. Mike, you're on with ELP.
Hey, just want to say what a privilege it is for all us younger fans to have you guys back there together again. I was first turned on to ELP plus PAL with the song Touch and Go. I'm sure you remember that.
Nice.
And then went back to discover all the earlier EL and Palmer.
Oops.
Well, that would be you gone then.
Wow, that was... I have never had that happen. I've been sitting for 10 years in this chair, and that has never happened before.
What was that, lightning?
I don't know. You know, that may have been lightning or something like that, yeah. Do we have him? I'm talking to my crew in the other room. Is he gone now completely? You guys have no idea, huh?
There you go, then.
He just disappeared. We're going to take a break, try and get him back on the line, and see what's on the other side. My, this has certainly gotten interesting all of a sudden here, huh? Okay, it's Rockline on the Global Satellite Network. I don't know what's going on. Find out when we come back from the break. Stick around. Well, welcome back. It's Rockline, an evening with Emerson, Lake, and Palmer, and we put our crack crew on the case to find out what happened, and we came up with the answer. No one knows.
Oh, there you go.
That was just a power spike or something, and the lights dimmed in here.
I'm sure
and,
it was lightning. We had some in the studio earlier where
yeah,
the whole computer desk went down.
We should explain to North America, we have been having rain here in the Southern California area, and it has been a thunderstorm that has gone along with it, which is rare for here. But, you know, sorry about that. But, Mike, do we have you back now?
I think so.
All right. Good. Well, take it from the beginning, okay?
From the beginning, as they say. Well, I won't bore you with the rest of my pre-scripted question here, as I was saying. First heard the song Touch and Go, and that's when I'm sure a lot of us 25 and under was turned on to the music, saw the concert, and then went back to discover all the Emerson, Lake, and Palmer pieces and enjoyed them even more. Now, what I want to know is, no lightning spikes, we're okay so far.
Yeah,
how you benefited from that experience, such as branching out with Cozy and then on the album 3 working with the new guitarist. How has that benefited the three of you guys now, and have you learned from those experiences and any regrets in doing it?
Can I just come in here, Carl, because, I mean, the question on Cozy Powell, I'd just like to say that the remark you made that you would listen to the piece Touch and Go, and then you'd go back and listen to all the previous stuff that I'd recorded with the band. I think that is exactly the right way to look at it. I never thought there was anything wrong with the fact that Cozy was in the band playing. What was interesting to me was the fact that people would have to backtrack through the band's career and look at the records that have been made. And I think from that point of view, just on its own, it was valid, you know, that the band was working, though they had a different drummer. I think that the material that was recorded collectively as Emerson, Lake and Palmer, I think more people got to know about it, like yourself. And I think it was valid because of that.
And the other two have these outside experiences brought something to this new project with the three of you now.
I think anything you do, you know, throws some light on everything you do in a way. So, I mean, to that extent, and as Carl said, you know, it's just music in the end. It's all music, and if people get pleasure from it, and if it opens doors to other things, then I think that's good. I mean, we had a case with pictures at an exhibition where it became very popular, and it opened doors to a lot of people listening to the classical version of that, and other classical music. That's true. Yes, and that's good thing to do, and I think that you know, all power to it. So yeah. I don't know what the question was, but certainly, you know, it's a good thing that if one track opens up a whole nest of things, then we're happy.
That's a good thing, yeah. It's a door that leads to other options and everything. And for not knowing what the question was, you did a damn good job of answering it.
Out of it, right?
I think you really did great on that. Some Aaron Copland music right now done by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. This is Fanfare for the Common Man on Rockline. Works Volume 1, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Fanfare for the Common Man on Rockline on the Global Satellite Network. And Bob Coburn with ELP. We have Novak on the line in Milwaukee listening to Laser 103. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Novak.
Welcome to you guys. I'm just flattered to be able to talk to you. My question is very brief. It's in two parts. The first question I wanted to ask Keith is whether he has ever in private played the Piano Sonata No. 1 by Alberto Ginastera.
The Piano Sonata?
No. 1.
No, I haven't. No. I mean, as you know, I've played the last movement of the Piano Concerto, but I haven't come across the sonata.
I think you would find it very beautiful.
Really?
Yes. If you get a chance, get the music and try it out. I think you'd find it pretty amazing.
Well, you've got your homework cut out for the weekend.
Yeah, there you go.
My second question to you gentlemen is this. I'm a lead keyboard player in a three-piece band called Lunar Chateau with my brothers, Milo and Paul, and we are following in the progressive vein in which you guys had pioneered. And we're finding it very difficult. Many people are very reluctant to listen to music that is more complex in nature. And we're wondering, what kind of advice do you have to another young and upcoming three-piece band that is following in the progressive vein?
Just keep doing it.
Keep at it.
Yeah, there you go. Believe in yourself and keep at it, huh?
Go for what you know.
Yeah. By the way, if you'd like to play that concerto, we do have a couple of keyboards set up in the studio here, Keith. One is a Fisher Price. It's a really famous brand that a lot of kids like to use.
The Casio, right?
Yeah, that's
thanks
right.
a lot.
Yeah. So if the whim should strike, feel free. All right.
Thank you. Yes.
Reminded
I'll do it back to front.
Reminded me of something I was going to ask you. Somebody told me that you did a Christmas record that really didn't make it to the general public. Did you? And
it's a very nice way to put it, young Bob. It's a very nice way to put it.
We're going to set Carl up again here. What's the story behind this? Because I have not seen it.
He gave me a copy.
My mum's got a copy too. It's something I just did for just a bit of fun. And I bring it out every year.
Around Christmas.
Around Christmas time. And
coincidentally.
It's good. Actually, it was released through mail order by Keyboard magazine.
It just got the wrong address.
Which is a very good magazine, by the way. Plug.
See, now that's how I had heard that it didn't get distributed well, because it was mail order through a magazine.
It was just
kind of tough to get a copy.
Yeah, it was a very personal thing, and I just wanted to do it for Keyboard magazine readers, and not really bring it out on a grand scale. You know, it was. Yeah, just a happy Christmas from Keith Emerson.
There you go, Novak. Thank you. We have Joe on the line in Little Rock, Magic 105. Joe, you're on with ELP on ROCKLINE.
Yes, what an honor.
Hi.
Keith, Greg, and Carl. Listen, very briefly, I wanted to direct my question to Greg. Greg, could you please comment for us on your previous work with Robert Fripp and King Crimson, and how, if any, that affected your songwriting, playing, your later work with Emerson, Lake and Palmer?
Well, it's a big question. I mean, I grew up with Bob Fripp. We went to the same guitar teacher when we were children. And to cut a very long story short, we ended up forming King Crimson. And although the band was short-lived, I think the album was a classic album, and I think that to some extent it probably did influence the way that progressive music went along. And to that extent, I mean, everything that I've done with Keith and Carl, I've always viewed really as a continuation of that sort of search for new things. I mean, that's a short answer to what could otherwise be a very long answer.
Well, I'm going to add a little addendum to that. You also ended up being influenced by one of the lyricists for King Crimson, Pete Sinfield. He's one of your main influences, isn't he?
Pete was certainly very important to all that, and he and I have worked together for years, although in fact we didn't work on this new album together, but yes, I mean, he's been a tremendous influence.
See, one thing leads to another. We'll come back with another segment of ROCKLINE with ELP in just a moment. We're going to play a song right now before we do that. This is Still You Turn Me On, ELP on ROCKLINE on the Global Satellite Network. Still You Turn Me On. Emerson, Lake and Palmer from Brain Salad Surgery. We're taking a brief time out, and then we're coming back. You come back with us. There's more with ELP next on ROCKLINE on the Global Satellite Network. Hey, thanks for coming back. It's an evening with Emerson, Lake and Palmer tonight on ROCKLINE. I'm Bob Coburn. We have Nelson on the line in San Francisco, our longtime affiliate there, 97.3 KRQR. Nelson, you're on.
Yes, well, it's an honor to be with Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I am from El Salvador, and you have a lot of fans right there. I go right to the question is, do you have any long songs in the new album?
Long songs? This is Carl speaking. Yeah, we've got a long one in there. I mean, I think we're up to about 7 minutes with one of the pieces. That's fairly long, isn't it?
Yeah, that's kind of a tradition with the band, too, yeah. I think. Nelson, where are you from? From El Salvador? Is that where you... See there?
Nelson?
El Salvador, yes.
Yes, oh, great.
Central America.
Yes.
Bueno, hombre.
Ah, yeah. Great. Well,
mira, nosotros tenemos un canción muy grande, muy largo, ¿no?
Eso está muy bueno. Qué bien. That's great.
Se llama Black Moon.
Oh, good.
¿Le gusta el título?
Muy bueno, está muy bueno. La luna.
Hombre.
Muy
Carl,
bueno. pretty good.
Nelson,
good.
Nelson, thanks.
I thought you were Japanese, to tell you the truth.
Hey, yeah, well done. Nelson, thanks a lot, and obviously I'm not needed anymore, so good night. You three wrap up.
See you, Bob.
Lock up when you leave, all right?
Bye, Bob. Lock up when you leave.
Let's go to Tokyo Bay. Rika is on the line. She is a listener of Bay FM 78. Hi.
Hello, it's Rika here from Bay FM. I'm very, very happy to talk to you. Well, there is a question I want to ask Carl Palmer.
Oh, Palmerson.
How old were you when you started playing drums? And at what age did you join your first band?
Good question. I was, they're trying to make me laugh here. I was 11 years old when I first started playing, and I think I joined my first band the following week, you know. I can't remember exactly, but I was playing by the time I was 12. But the first rock band I was ever in, I was 14 years old. So I'd played, you know, sort of different types of music up until then, from the age of 11. But when I was 14, I joined a group called I remember it well, they were called the King Bees.
The King Bees, there you go. And Rika, thank you for the call. We'll move quickly as we're about to run out of time. We have Al in Saginaw, Michigan, and he's a listener of 93.9 KQZ. Al, you're on.
Well, welcome back, my friend.
Thank you very much.
You've been out of the loop as far as the videos go. How do you feel about the technology in making videos?
We're not, this is Greg here, sorry. We're not, you know, we're into the music, really. That's our thing. The whole area of videos is something that is another domain. I mean, we're musicians. That's our thing, really.
Will there be videos in the new album?
I believe there will, and we're
concert-style videos, probably.
I'm not quite sure, but we're discussing with some people now about putting a video out for the new record. But it's not something that we, you know, get involved in tremendously.
Right, music first.
Music first.
There you go, Al. We have Scott on the line right now. He is in Oakley, California, a listener of 97.3 KRQR in San Francisco. Quickly, please, Scott.
Well, first off, guys, I just want to say I'm ecstatic to hear that you're back. And it's been a long time coming. I saw you in the early 70s a couple times. My question is directed to Keith. I'm trying to clear up a rumor. I believe it was something I read in Keyboard. You used to live in a castle above a town, and you had a giant pipe organ system. You used to get up in the middle of the night and play and wake up the townspeople. Is this true?
Sounds like Frankenstein.
It does, doesn't it?
Well, yes, it is.
It's absolutely true.
No, I don't know where it is. Where did you read that?
I believe it was
Gardener's Weekly.
I'm trying to date myself here. Like 1973, 74. 72, I don't know, right in there.
It was a very bad patch for him, that particular year.
Yeah, really.
Well, the rumor stops here, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
That's the end of that. Scott, thank you for the call. Thanks to everyone for calling and listening tonight. The Rockline mailing address, P.O. Box 4383, Hollywood, California, 90078. Next week, Canadian rocker Tom Cochrane will be one of our guests on Rockline. He's got a brand new CD out called Mad Mad World. Then in 2 weeks, Steve Miller will take your calls on Rockline. Special thanks tonight out to Stuart Young, also to Phil Carson and Lisa Zambrano of Victory Music, and of course to our guests tonight, Keith Emerson, Greg Lake, and Carl Palmer. And we will see you back in the month of May shortly with the new material, right?
Great.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Promise, same time, same place, same station, huh?
Look forward to it.
All right, I'm BC, and I'll be seeing you in a week.